Today.
Good morning and thanks for watching WNCN Today at 11. I'm Emma Wright in for Eileen Park.
And I'm Mike Gonzalez in for Phil Sanchez. For the second time in a week, a middle school boy has been hit by a car at a school bus stop. State Highway Patrol says this 11-year-old boy, Michael Burgess, is at the hospital right now. He's got non-life-threatening injuries after that early morning accident. WNCN Today's Mike Lamia joins us live from the scene near Apex. Mike, what's the latest?
Good morning, Mike. Well, investigators say it all happened right here off of Johnson Pond Road. Michael Burgess' school bus pulled up right next to those hash marks you see right behind me, just like it does every morning, and the bus turned on its stop arm. It was at that point troopers say Michael ran across the street and was suddenly hit by a car attempting to pass the bus, and he was thrown into this ditch. The car was driven by 16-year-old Lindsay Tite, who was on her way to Middle Creek High School. Michael was transported to the WakeMed Hospital. Troopers on scene say he suffered several broken bones. It's a difficult morning for parents and friends who witnessed the whole thing.
You just hear the bus driver honking, 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 and you hear the kids screaming, and you just see the little boy hit the car, go flying in the air and into the ditch.
Right now, the investigators are saying that it was extremely foggy outside, and she's saying that she just did not see the lights of the school bus. They are not ruling out any type of distractions at this time, although they are not saying that that is a contributing factor as well.
Now, investigators say Lindsay Tite will face charges in this case. They also want to put out a clear reminder this morning for all drivers to always stop at those stop arms when the buses are stopped. But for now, we're live in Wake County. Mike Lamia, WNCN Today.
All right, Mike, scary situation. Thanks for that update.
As Mike said, this wreck serves as a reminder for drivers to slow down and be aware of what's going on. At the beginning of the school year, WNCN launched a school safety campaign called Brake for Buses. We teamed up with local schools and law enforcement to get a simple message out, and that's to slow down. A recent state study found over 3,000 cars pass buses that are stopped every day. Police say it's important that you help them find violators by reporting what you've seen.
What we want you to do is get as much information about the vehicle, driver description, but more importantly, the registration tag. Then what we'll do is we'll take that information as far as the Highway Patrol, and we'll investigate that.
Since 1999, 13 children in this state have died after being hit while getting on or off a school bus. We want you to spread the message by using the hashtag #BrakeForBuses. For more information about the safety campaign, just log on to WNCN.com.
And right now, students in Durham are getting firsthand experience on the dangers of distracted driving thanks to a really unique program. It's called Arrive Alive. Distracted driving accounts for a large number of deadly accidents in our state and across the country, for that matter. One of the biggest red flags, texting while driving, and today they have the ability to use a high-tech simulator to experience the dangers of texting while driving firsthand without the real-world consequences.
We're still losing more than 3,000 lives every year, and hundreds of thousands are injured because of crashes caused by distraction.
And this program is designed to heighten awareness not only for texting while driving, but also the dangers of drunk driving and distracted driving as a whole.
The intersection where a Heritage High School student died yesterday has a history of crashes. Braden Rock died after an accident on Capitol Boulevard in Wake Forest. His sister was driving. Investigators say their car turned into the path of another vehicle, triggering the accident. 2 others were also injured. WNCN followed up with the Department of Transportation about the intersection at Capitol Boulevard and Cavanis Farms Avenue. In the past 5 years, there have been 41 accidents at that intersection. In 9 of those crashes, someone was injured. 9% of these crashes happened like what happened yesterday, with a car getting hit while making a left turn onto Cavanis Farms Road. The majority, 76%, involved cars getting rear-ended while waiting to turn onto Capitol. The DOT does say that there are plans to install a traffic light, but no word on when that will take place. That tragedy and others in our area have teens turning to social media as a way to cope. Students at schools across Wake County have been using Twitter hashtags to connect and grieve together. It's a high-tech version of old-fashioned bonding.
Twitter and Facebook and all that just really made it easier for people to write. It's a digital diary for anyone to see, and when people put their feelings out there like that, other people put their feelings out, they know it's okay.
Experts say the online grieving is healthy, but urge parents to monitor what their kids are doing for signs of depression.
The family of a 71st high school student hopes to have a vigil tonight. 16-year-old Joseph Braxton was shot and killed at a birthday party in Fayetteville over the weekend. So far, no arrests have been made.
Some breaking news out of Stanley County. A student was shot in the leg at Albemarle Senior High School around 7:30 this morning. That's according to police. That's about 35 miles east of Charlotte. Authorities have another student in custody. They say the high school's school resource officer secured the suspect. Emergency crews are on the scene and are having a staging area set up at the school. The school has canceled classes for the day. St. Augustine's University says one of their students has passed away. Matthew Mangrum died in a car accident in his hometown of Darien, Georgia, Monday morning. The 20-year-old majored in criminal justice. Mangrum was a starter for the Falcons football team and also an honor student.
The Roseville High School athlete who collapsed before a football game on Friday night has died. Isaiah Langston was in critical condition throughout the weekend but passed away on Monday morning. Still no word on what caused that teen to collapse. So here at WNCN, we wanted to know, are high school sports physicals enough to keep athletes safe? And here's what we found. An EKG checks for problems with the electrical activity of the heart. The European Society of Cardiology has recommended that young athletes use EKGs for years now, but the American Heart Association says they're not usually necessary.
If there's any question about that student's cardiac health, then the EKG should be done.
And we'll have an in-depth report on athletes and heart testing tomorrow night on WNCN News at 11.
We have a traffic alert to pass along this morning. DOT crews have shut down southbound lanes of Hammond Road near Rush Street to repair a sinkhole that opened up last week for the second time. A detour will be in place. Crews hope to have the road reopened later in the day.
And a good morning to you. We were talking about foggy conditions just a matter of an hour or so ago. Things are starting to improve right now, and right now we are at 66 degrees here in North Raleigh. Still can't completely see the buildings of downtown right now, but again, things are improving, and slowly but surely, once the fog gets out of here, we'll see the sunshine return. 3 miles visibility right now in Raleigh, 7 miles in Lewisburg and Rocky Mount. If you were watching us earlier, some of these numbers were at 0 earlier this morning, so we're moving in the right direction. We'll just need a little bit more time to get there. 66 again in Raleigh and in Durham, 65 in Lillington, very close to 70 already in Fayetteville, and in the 70s for Clinton. So later today, I'm expecting an afternoon high near 79, and then we're back into the mid-70s by 6 o'clock. I'll have more on how long these warm temperatures will stick around coming up in your complete forecast.
All right, Alyssa, sounds good. Thanks so much. Today, we may get some answers about recent security breaches at the White House.
A congressional committee is looking into that as we speak. According to the Washington Post, a man who jumped the White House fence last week got all the way into the East Room before Secret Service members stopped him. A new Post report also says that there was mass confusion when bullets hit the private residence in 2011. At that time, service members took up defensive posts but were told to stand down. 4 days later, a White House keeper found bullet holes in a window. Former agents blame the chain of command.
It does make certain individuals uncomfortable to speak openly, to engage their supervisors.
But ultimately, the president does retain confidence in the leadership of the Secret Service.
The White House says Director Pearson has discussed security breaches in the Oval Office with President Obama since that man jumped the fence.
Today, the United States and Afghanistan signed a long-awaited security pact that will allow U.S. forces to remain in that country after the end of this year. At a ceremony in the capital, newly appointed National Security Advisor Mohammed Hanif Atmar signed the document with U.S. Ambassador James Cunningham. Afghanistan's new president told the audience that the agreement signaled a fundamental shift in his country's relations with the entire world. In Syria, the United States and its allies are pressing their air campaign right now, but it may not be enough to stop ISIS from capturing a key city there. Latest allied airstrikes have been concentrated against targets in central and northern Syria. Missions have also been flown in support of Kurdish fighters in the strategic Syrian town of Kobani. But witnesses say the airstrikes were not close enough or effective enough to stop the ISIS advance.
Today is the last day for public comment on the rules overseeing fracking here in North Carolina. Fracking, or hydraulic fracturing, is the process of drilling with chemicals into shale to extract natural gas. There were several public hearings this summer before the State Mining and Energy Commission. Now, the commission will review the comments before recommending the rules on fracking. Those rules then go before the legislature next year. One of the nation's largest engineering career fairs kicks off at NC State today. The NC State Engineering Career Fair runs through tomorrow at the McKimmon Center. Students from as far away as New York and Texas travel here for the event. A record 372 companies will be on hand to recruit participants looking for full-time jobs, co-op opportunities, and internships. That all started at 9 a.m. A small group of Fort Bragg soldiers back home with their families this morning. Members of the 44th Medical Brigade team flew into RDU last night. The highly specialized group spent time in Afghanistan providing acute care for soldiers fighting on the front lines.
And speaking of Fort Bragg,